Welcome to the Finish Your Story podcast, where we guide writers to become better creators with healthy writing habits. Episode 1, Getting Started. How long does it take to finish your story? It will never truly be done. You can make the book as wonderful as possible, but there will always be more work. One of the biggest struggles for writers is letting go and allowing the book to enter the world. Even as I was publishing my book earlier this year, I was already planning the next edition because I've learned so much since I started this journey. It also really depends on the type of story you are writing. A novel could take years, but a short story could take a week. I would say writing and being a writer is a lifetime pursuit. Maybe you have one idea for your book or you have a million, but either way, you'll be spending a lot of time working on that one story. What should you write? Whatever makes you happy or sounds interesting to you. Really, the most important part is writing something that will change your life. Because if it changes your life, it'll change others as well. Writing is a fun and healthy creative pursuit that should bring you joy. If you want to write a classic story about a person slaying a dragon, go for it. The classic hero's journey is good for a reason, and it's still used to this day in some of the most popular and influential stories. If you want to write a crazy epic that no one has ever done, do it. Write what makes you happy. Writing is fun. If you want to create a sappy romance novel with a shirtless guy on the front and a predictable ending, go for it. There's a reason why Hallmark still makes the same Christmas movie over and over and over again, and they are still successful. Think of a book series. It's called Ice Planet Barbarians. Trigger warning, it is very much a erotic series, but the whole idea is that the author just wanted to write something fun and insane and out of this world, and she accomplished that. So, write whatever you want to write. Of course, you could write to the market and to the genre and to whatever works for you. But if you really want to stick with your story and get it going, write what is fun and interesting and whatever you want. Don't let others tell you that your story is not unique or not good enough. Just write and enjoy it. Where to begin? Well, first, you need to write down every single idea you have about this one story. If you have one central idea for your story, get everything else out onto the page or a document. Try every way to get all those ideas out. Even if you feel like the idea in your head is going to stay there, it won't. You need to write it out on the paper. So you should also check out mind mapping, which is a whole process where you are literally brainstorming and putting every single idea out on the page. There is a chapter in my book, Finish Your Story, on that, and also a blog on our website that you should check out about mind mapping. I would also suggest starting with short stories. Short stories are anywhere between 1,000 to 10,000 words, and you can tell some really amazing stuff in that short word count. Check out other short stories and what they have done to get inspiration on how to get started with your story. If you go in trying to write this epic fantasy or space opera that is your first completed work, you're probably going to fail and possibly destroy your confidence. Think of starting out as being like a weightlifter. You really need to build up that muscle to those bigger weights by starting with smaller exercises. You don't start with the massive stories. You need to build up some of that confidence so that you can actually finish a project. Do that by writing short fiction first. Also, check out our website or YouTube channel for more information on this short fiction. And finally, what are some tools and resources that you could use to really get going when you are first beginning to write? Well, start free or really cheap. Grab a notebook and a pen from the dollar store, or just use Google Docs, or any other writing software you have access to. Check out Libre writing software. It's basically like Microsoft, but it is completely free and open source, so it's constantly being updated. This may not be something you want to pursue as a career or as a part-time project. If it's just a hobby, start free, start cheap. Do anything you can to lower that cost, so that way you aren't investing as much. So if it does fail or just doesn't work out like you think it will, you won't have sunk a ton of money into it. That being said, go ahead and buy my book. It's available on Amazon, and it's pretty awesome. It really can help you get started with finishing your story. Official product promotion. So, every single episode, we are going to talk about some product or promo that we are going to be showing off. Today is to sign up for our Arcane Inkblots Kickstarter. We will be launching it on August 13th, and Arcane Inkblots is a creative writing idea generator. It is something that gives you prompts, tips, and inkblots to give you a unique perspective on the prompt. That way you can really pull from your story whatever you're trying to get out. The goal is to give you a fun and interesting way to write stories and build up your skills as a writer. Check out the link in the description below or wherever the link is for the Kickstarter. Every week we will also cover a creator that we want to spotlight, and these are big and small creators. I want to introduce you today to Jackson Dickert. Jackson is a hilarious YouTuber, interviewer, publisher who works at Campfire, which is a fantastic resource, by the way. Check it out. But Jackson specifically on YouTube does these really hilarious and insightful interviews with authors called Between Two Perns. Some of my favorite episodes are the Bryce O'Connor episode and the Dirk Ashton. He makes some amazing content. He's super funny, kind, and he also knows a lot of famous people within the publishing industry. So I, of course, got to sing his praises. So, he'll sing my praises as well. But we also did an interview with him on our YouTube channel that we are probably going to put up here on, our podcast as well. He's super funny. He's awesome. Go ahead and check him out. We also will be covering frequently asked questions to give you guys a bit more tips or a bit more of a focus tip. Today's question is, how do I start writing? I mean, I kind of covered a lot of that within the whole episode of Getting Started itself, but here are some things that you can really focus on to get started. The thing you need to focus on is being prepared. If you spend enough time thinking about your story and outlining it as much as possible, I believe and have seen that you will find it much easier to write. It can be difficult to write anything if you have no idea where to start or where to go, and that's any author is something that they can struggle with. Take time to plan out what your story will be about. Who are the characters? What is the setting? What is the genre? Is there magic, advanced technology? Really spend a lot of time just covering all of your bases. That way, when you go into it, even if you don't have it fully fleshed out, you at least have an answer or a direction. And of course, you can always go back and edit it. Write down all the parts you're excited about and start there. You do not have to start at the very beginning of the story. You could write that really cool, amazing scene that you imagine in your mind and build around that. Maybe the start of the story is better there instead of that being the end of the story. Write whatever makes you happy and that gets you going. Again, write short stories about different characters in the world and also just parts of the world. That way, when you start writing about that character or that section, it'll be much more fleshed out and much more interesting. Also, take time to dive into your world and what makes it special to you. If you love it, if you have a good time there, it is much more likely that your readers will as well. Now, the last part of the episode is the writing tip and prompt. Every week, we are going to come up with a tip and a prompt that will help you pursue your writing in a more effective and healthy way. Our writing tip for today is the 10-word rule. One of the hardest parts about writing is getting started on that project and just sitting down and doing it. Instead of making this big plan of what you'll be doing, tell yourself all you have to do is write 10 words. A sentence or something really small and easy to accomplish. By doing that, you've found the way to cross the barrier that is holding you back from sitting down to write. It's a really effective tool that once you get this practice going, will make it way easier to write every single time. And then you start building up that habit and really improving as a productive writer. Today's writing prompt is, in as much detail as possible, Describe a dog to someone who has never seen that animal before. Thank you so much for joining us in this Finish Your Story podcast episode. We are so excited to be sharing this and to be getting it out into the world. Like, comment, subscribe, share around with those who need help finishing their story or just getting started on writing. And we hope you have a great day. Check out my book, Finish Your Story, on Amazon, and any other products and things we have on our website here at Narrative Inc. Thank you. Have a great day.